Look, most men are out here chasing the wrong thing. They think sexual value is something you flex with, something you can just buy, or something that's handed to you overnight. But let me tell you something, real value ain't given. It's built, and it starts with you, your mindset, your discipline, and the respect you have for yourself. You gotta earn your energy, your presence, your aura. That's where the power is. Look, a lot of men out here think sexual value is something you can just grab, like it's handed to you on a silver platter, like it's something you can flex with or show off. They think confidence is the same as entitlement. That's where most of the confusion starts. See, sexual value ain't about what other people think about you. It ain't about how many people are chasing you or how many you can chase. Real sexual value starts with respect, self-respect. Before you can command energy, before you can create attraction, you gotta understand and honor your own worth. You gotta walk through life with a sense of dignity that comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you bring to the table. Most men, they get it twisted. They chase validation from outside. They look at the world and think, if she notices me, if people want me, then I must be valuable. That's a trap. That ain't the foundation. The foundation is you, your self-respect, your discipline, your commitment to being better than you were yesterday. That's where real sexual value is born. You got to take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. You got to cultivate energy that makes people feel it when you step in the room. Women, men, whoever, it don't matter. People are drawn to authenticity. They can tell when you respect yourself and when you don't. And that energy carries farther than any conversation, any appearance, any temporary validation. See, self-respect ain't something you just feel. It's something you live. It's in the choices you make every day. It's in how you handle your money, how you handle your time, how you handle your health. You can't say you value yourself if you're reckless with your body, reckless with your energy, reckless with your time. Real men understand that every decision is a reflection of their worth. If you treat yourself with respect, the world reflects that back to you. People treat you differently. Opportunities show up differently. And yes, sexual energy works the same way. When you value yourself, when you know your worth, you naturally attract people who respect you, who honor your presence, and who appreciate the energy you bring. Most men also don't realize that sexual value ain't about numbers. It ain't about quantity. It's about quality. You can't fake this. You can't buy it. You can't trick it into happening. You build it through integrity, through purpose, through discipline, and through self-awareness. A man with real sexual value is a man with direction. He's focused on his growth, on his vision, on his legacy. He understands that the way he treats himself sets the standard for how others treat him. If you show up half-hearted, if you let chaos run your life, people will sense that. But if you show up grounded, focused, and disciplined, your presence alone carries weight. That's magnetic. That's valuable. That's respected. And it don't stop at physical or emotional discipline. Self-respect is also about boundaries. It's about knowing when to say yes and when to say no. Too many men get caught chasing attention or chasing desire, thinking that their value comes from availability. But real sexual value is tied to self-control. It's tied to understanding that what you offer from a place of power, not desperation. It's tied to understanding that your energy is precious and that it's not something you just hand out to everyone. When you respect yourself, you don't settle for less than what you deserve. You don't compromise your standards just to feel accepted or wanted. And that creates a level of respect from others that can't be bought or faked. See, the world teaches a lot of men the wrong lessons. They see media, they see social trends, they see influencers and peers, and they think sexual value is about performance, about how you look, about how you can impress someone in a fleeting moment. But those things fade. Self-respect endures. Self-respect is the foundation of lasting value. It's what allows a man to build meaningful relationships, to connect on a deeper level, to be a man of substance. And that substance is what people remember. That substance is what carries weight in every interaction, in every room, in every choice. When you commit to building sexual value through self-respect, you start living differently. You start investing in your mind, your body, your skills, your purpose. You start thinking long-term. You stop chasing temporary validation and start building a life that's magnetic, a life that demands respect because it's anchored in integrity. People feel that energy. It's palpable. It's undeniable. And when you reach that level, you don't have to chase. It comes to you naturally. So understand that sexual value ain't something you get. It's something you become. It's the reflection of the discipline, the purpose, the integrity, and the self-respect you carry in every moment. It's the product of the man you are inside, not the one the world tells you to be. And once you grasp that, once you embody that, you move differently, you speak differently, you connect differently. You don't just attract attention, you command respect. And that, my friend, is power that lasts. See, a lot of men out here measuring their worth by numbers, thinking sexual value is something you can count. They think it's how many people notice them, how many they can attract, how many they can impress in a night. That's where the confusion starts. They look at life through a lens of accumulation. Like the more they have, the more they're valuable. But real talk, that's short-sighted. Real sexual value, real influence. It ain't about how many people you touch. It's about the depth of the connection you create. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And that difference separates the men who are respected from the men who are forgotten. Quality comes from energy. It comes from how you carry yourself. You can't fake it, you can't rush it. You can't pretend to be something you're not just to get temporary validation. That's the problem with so many guys. They're chasing the instant hit, the quick win, the superficial measure of worth. But when you focus on quality, everything changes. You start investing in yourself first, in your mindset, your health, your discipline, your vision. You start becoming a man whose presence leaves an impact because you're not trying to be everywhere at once. You're focused, you're intentional, and people feel it. That energy, that's magnetic. That's what real sexual value is built on. Most men don't realize that chasing numbers will always leave you empty. You can have all the attention in the world, but if it's shallow, if it's temporary, if it's built on fleeting attraction, it won't sustain you. Quality over quantity means understanding that every interaction, every connection, every relationship matters. It means being present in the moment instead of just trying to collect experiences to show off later. It means being a man of integrity, of purpose, of direction. When you operate this way, people don't just see you, they feel you. And that feeling lasts longer than any superficial conquest ever could. Quality also comes with standards. It comes with discipline. It comes with knowing your worth and not settling for less than what you deserve. Too many men are out here trying to impress the world, thinking the more they say yes, the more they're valuable. But the truth is, real value comes from selective energy. It comes from knowing when to say yes and when to say no. It's about investing in the right connections, building meaningful relationships, and leaving a lasting impression on the people who actually matter. That's where the power lies, because you can't spread yourself thin and still command respect. You can't be everywhere for everyone and still hold weight in your presence. See, life will teach you lessons about this if you pay attention. You'll notice the men who chase quantity, they're exhausted, they're empty, they're constantly seeking validation that never comes. And then you see the men who focus on quality, they're grounded, respected, magnetic. People remember them. Women remember them. Other men respect them. Their energy is concentrated and it carries far beyond the surface. That's the lesson. It ain't about how much you have. It's about the depth and authenticity of what you bring to the table. Quality also reflects in your purpose. Men who understand this don't just chase pleasure. They chase growth. They chase mastery over themselves. They chase a vision that elevates them and everyone around them. Sexual value is a reflection of your overall energy. And energy is shaped by how intentional you are in life. The more you invest in yourself, the more your presence resonates. And when you resonate at that level, people naturally gravitate towards you. That's influence. That's attraction. That's power. And that kind of power can't be measured by numbers. It can only be felt. Another thing about quality is it requires patience. You can't rush it. You can't fake it. You can't just jump from one connection to another, hoping to feel validated. Real sexual value is built over time. It's cultivated through integrity, respect, and authenticity. The men who understand this know that each interaction, each choice, each moment of self-discipline contributes to their legacy. They're not in it for the temporary high. They're in it to leave an impact, to build something lasting, to command respect in every room they step into. That's the difference between fleeting success and sustained influence. And understand this, it's not just about who you attract, it's about how you make them feel. That's the power of quality. When you operate from a place of real self-respect, real purpose, real energy, people feel it. Women feel it, men feel it, your peers feel it, even your enemies feel it. That energy carries weight. It's undeniable. And once you reach that level, it changes the game completely. You're no longer chasing. People are drawn to you because of the quality of your energy, the integrity of your actions, and the depth of your presence. That's real influence. That's real sexual value. So stop measuring yourself by numbers. Stop thinking more equals better. Real sexual value, real impact, real legacy. It comes from quality, from depth, from intention, from energy. Build yourself, invest in yourself, set your standards high, be selective with your time, your attention, and your connections, and watch how the world responds when you operate with that kind of focused energy. That's how you win. That's how you command respect. That's how you leave a legacy that lasts longer than any temporary validation ever could. Most men out here, they're focused on what they can show the world in the moment. They think it's all about performance, about the flashy moves, about being seen as the man in the room. They chase applause, instant recognition, quick validation. But the truth is, performance is temporary. Energy fades, attention moves on, and the spotlight don't last forever. What really carries weight, what really builds influence is your legacy and the presence you bring every single day. That's what separates men who are remembered from men who are forgotten. Legacy and presence. These are what people feel long after you've left the room. These are what leave an imprint, not some momentary flex or temporary show. Legacy starts with understanding who you are and what you stand for. It's not about what people see in you right now. It's about the life you're building, the impact you're creating, and the energy you leave behind. Most men ignore this, thinking if they can just perform well in the moment, that's enough. But life isn't measured by instant gratification. Life is measured by the footprint you leave, the people you elevate, and the standards you set for yourself and everyone around you. When you focus on legacy, you stop chasing external validation. You stop worrying about how you look or how you're perceived in any single moment. Instead, you think long term. You think, what am I building that will last? How am I showing up consistently in a way that people can feel, even when I'm not around? That's where real power comes from. Presence is the extension of legacy. It's how you show up in every room, in every conversation, in every interaction. It's not about how fast you move, how flashy your moves are, or how many people notice you. Presence is energy. Presence is calm confidence. Presence is intentionality. When you walk into a room with presence, people feel it. They respect it. They respond to it. Presence communicates who you are without saying a word. It's the quiet assurance that comes from mastery over yourself, your purpose, and your vision. And when your presence is strong, your performance in any single moment becomes secondary. People pay attention to the energy you carry, not just the moves you make. Men get it twisted when they think sexual value or influence is tied to performance. They think it's about what you can do in the moment, the instant results, the flashy action, the attention you can command quickly. But performance is fleeting. Presence endures. Legacy endures. The men who are respected decades from now, who are remembered by the people they touched, aren't the ones who were loudest or fastest. They're the ones who showed up consistently, who carried themselves with integrity, who invested in the people and the vision that mattered. That's what legacy looks like in action. That's what real influence looks like. Legacy also requires discipline and patience. It's not built overnight. You don't create a lasting impression by chasing temporary highs or by trying to prove yourself in every moment. Legacy is built by the way you handle yourself when nobody is watching. It's built by the quiet choices, the daily commitments, the standards you hold yourself to, even when there's no applause. That's the energy that people feel. That's the respect that can't be bought or faked. And presence amplifies that. Presence is the outward reflection of the legacy you're building inside yourself. Another thing most men don't understand is that presence isn't about being dominant or aggressive. It's about being grounded. It's about carrying yourself with a calm confidence that communicates without words, that you're in control of your life, your vision, and your energy. Women, men, peers, they feel it. They can't ignore it. That kind of presence doesn't just attract respect, it commands it. And when you operate from that level, performance doesn't have to do the heavy lifting. Your energy does the work. Your consistency does the work. Your integrity does the work. That's how real influence is built. Legacy is also about contribution. It's about lifting others as you rise. Men who focus only on performance, only on the momentary win, they often leave people behind. Their energy is shallow, their impact is temporary, and they're remembered for flashes, not substance. But men who focus on legacy, they think about the people they touch, the lives they impact, the communities they uplift. They think about what they leave behind. That mindset changes everything. It creates lasting influence because people remember the energy you gave them, the guidance you offered, the respect you showed. That's the measure of a man who understands legacy and presence over performance. And here's the truth about presence and legacy. They multiply over time. The more you show up grounded, disciplined, and intentional, the more your influence grows. Performance might get attention for a moment, but it won't make people follow you decades later. Presence and legacy, that's what builds empires. That's what makes people believe in you, even when you're not in front of them. That's what separates the men who are remembered from the ones who fade. So understand and stop chasing the flashy moves, the quick wins, the applause of the moment. Focus on building a life that matters, a presence that carries weight, and a legacy that endures. Invest in your energy, your discipline, your purpose. Show up consistently, respect yourself, elevate others, and let your presence do the talking. That's how you create real value, real influence, and real respect. And when you operate from that level, performance becomes secondary. Because what you leave behind, the energy, the impact, the legacy, speaks louder than anything you could ever do in a single moment. So stop chasing what you think you want and start building what you need. Master yourself, master your presence, and let your energy speak louder than your words. Real sexual value ain't something you get overnight. It's something you become. And when you become that man, everything else will follow naturally. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and keep moving forward. That's how you win. That's how you create legacy.